Hey y'all, it's me, Stacks. Welcome to the channel. I'm super excited for us to get to know each other throughout the different games that I'll be playing. But this isn't an intro video. This is more like I'm trying to make some sense of Apex for everybody else because I had a hard time doing it once I started reading. So basically, if you play the game, even if you started from Season 5, you know that Revenant killed Loba's parents a while back when she was a kid, and now she's back for revenge, and she's finessed all the other legends into helping her find some artifact that's supposed to help her kill him. Right? Well, yeah, and not really. If you didn't know, Apex Legends takes place in the Titanfall universe, as in right after the events of the game. Here's how we got into the Bloodsport in the first place. First and foremost, the world that they're all in is called Frontier, which is a separate planetary system far off from Earth. The IMC, or the Interstellar Mining Corporation that we keep hearing about, was formerly Hammer Robotics. They grew and they acquired some other assets and became IMC and started exploring space using the jump drive technology, which is the same tech in Loba's little bracelet. The IMC ends up populating the Frontier with soldiers that they don't really have a use for right now and hand out some money and land to get them all started. After a while of being there, the IMC really doesn't have a use for Frontier, and they're doing well, so they'll be alright, and jump drive their behinds right back to Earth. Keep in mind, we're still in Titanfall's timeline. The Frontier becomes this flourishing place, and the IMC catches wind of it, and they try to play finders keepers with the now really well-established inhabitants of all the planets there. They form the Frontier Militia, and of course, this launches war, because angry humans, and that becomes known as the Titan Wars. This goes on for a while until the IMC eventually wins that snippet of foolishness. 15 years later, the IMC goes on to attack a little itty-bitty colony on the planet of Troy, and that snowballs into what we know as the Frontier War, and that goes on for a few decades. During the Frontier War, IMC contracts a group of mercenary pilots named the Apex Predators. In this small group of elite killers is none other than Cuban Blisk, who we know will go on to start the Apex games, and of course, Ash. Ash, at the point of Titanfall 2, is a simulacrum, just like Revenant. So her consciousness was transferred from her physical brain to a source code that can continuously be downloaded into a new robot if one gets busted. A couple of high-scale battles go on until we get to the Battle of Typhon. There, the Predators get smacked. And when I say smacked, I mean smacked. Everybody dies. Of course, except for Blisk. Ash's robot body is also broken, but later on, a company called Vincent Dynamics rebuilds her, and she has no memory of who she used to be. She's convinced that she can find the answers in IMC's remnant fleet, which is basically a big battalion of robots. The war officially ended after the Battle of Gridiron, which left both sides with no artillery or resources to keep fighting. However, untouched by the war was the Outlands, aka a part of the Frontier where the Apex games is going to take place. Cuban Blisk, Mr. Predator himself, fixes a fancy to King's Canyon on the planet of Solace. King's Canyon was a little fruitful town with all the resources in the world, and Blisk basically said, nah, I kind of want it, and I'm going to empty it so people could kill each other in it. And alongside what we now know as the Syndicate, Blisk founded the Apex games, and the Bloodsport began. Whew! Shout out to MatPat for definitely teaching me how to organize my theories. You're great. Here's what leads up to where we are now. In the year 2420, and which in theory should be before or during the Titan Wars, Revenant became the first successful simulacrum. Tongue twister. 20 years later, he becomes fully operational and continues to be one of the best, if not the best, mercenaries that you could find in the entire Frontier. Fast forwarding almost 300 years in 2708, he picks up a contract to take out Marcos Andrade, which of course is Loba's dad. Although Loba's parents were basically high-class scammers, Shorty still watched her parents die, so now she has eternal beef with a robot that she makes her life goal to find. In the meantime, she becomes the best thief in the Outlands. If you needed something stolen, you called Thickums over there to go snatch it. In 2733, aka during the Season 4 trailer, Revenant kills who was supposed to be the next legend in the games, Forge, on live television. To be honest, I didn't want another slow-moving legend anyway, so I really wasn't mad about it whatsoever. He ends up being the next legend himself in the games, and Loba finds out about it and goes off to figure out how to kill him. However, what she's not aware of is that Rev's system is damaged. After he took out Andrade, he suffered damage that made him very aware that he's a robot. Yes, this entire 300 some odd years, Rev thought that he was this cute little mercenary and not the loud old chunk of metal that he runs around. The part of his transference system that's supposed to wipe his immediate memory every time he dies and gets re-downloaded is messed up, so now he's wildin'. And now he also remembers every single time he's died and how, and he's on a mission to figure it out. But no one really knows that until the end of the last quest. Loba, or Thickums, ends up in Skulltown, which we all loved so much, and finds both Rev's actual human head in a case and all his replacement bodies. She gets too emotional and she tries to shoot at the head, but of course, it has bulletproof glass, so she gets nowhere. All the robots in the facility are alerted, and in her escape process, she manages to blow up the entire part of the map. So now we have a hole in the map for Season 5. Thank you, Loba. So she ends up striking a deal with New Hammond Robotics for the location of Rev's source code in exchange for finding an artifact for them. Throughout the season, we've been doing quests with legends to find the artifact pieces with the annoying ass prowlers that are in the way all the damn time. And at the end of all of it, we come to find out that the head we're building isn't even one of Red's heads. It's Ash's head. So we find the faceplate, and then we get a story where Rev asks Loba to basically euthanize him. And she doesn't know how to feel, because she wanted to kill him with full vengeance and hatred and revenge, and now she has sympathy, which is a whole joke. In the last piece of the quest, we spawn near Slum Lakes, I think, and are led by Loba over comms to an underground bunker that's a lot like the loot vaults that started opening after Lost Treasures. We go down a very creepy red hallway with a regular old P2020 that isn't going to do anything for anybody, and then we get to a circular room with a robotic body hanging from some wires that look like they came out of a capacitor. The body turns out to be Ash's body. Once you put her head on, she twitches around and then bows while saying, "Welcome to Olympus." As you get closer to Ash in the creepy red hallway, you can hear her saying numbers and names that are possibly related to some secrets in Olympus that Lifeline and Octane are keeping, as it's their home in the planet of Samath. The lore can really go in any direction once we get to Season 6, because we have a few storylines. One, we could get a full Lifeline backstory, along with everything she did to be the problematic combat medic that she is now. We've never really had a full backstory on Lifeline that'll tell us what's going on. That, and both Octane and Lifeline's parents are big figures in the Outlands. Octane's parents own a pharmaceutical company, and AJ's parents are definitely doctors. So they definitely have heavy influence, and we have no idea whether or not they're tied to the Syndicate at all. Next, we might finally start moving in on this crypto Taejun Park situation, along with the messages that Mila left in the loot vaults. Basically, Respawn just confirmed officially that crypto is Taejun Park, even though we all knew, like, we didn't get the stories from the Outlands. But, you know, if we could get that full story and see how that comes full circle, I really hope he doesn't get arrested. That would be kind of rude. I think that wouldn't be fair for Crypto. And maybe he find his sister and she becomes some help through Hack. The last thing that could happen in Season 6 on top of the new map might be us getting to find out about Mr. Snitch, Caustic, and all his connections to everything, considering that he worked for Vincent, who rebuilt Ash after the Battle of Typhon. So for those of you who don't know, Caustic ends up being the mole that's telling Revenant everything that's going on. But Mila, in the messages that she leaves for Crypto in the vaults, is also telling him that somebody on the inside knows he's Tae-Jun. So Caustic has a couple roles that he could possibly be playing right now. I hope the trailer comes out soon. I'm pretty sure season 6 is dropping in August if we're going on a similar Respawn timeline. And yeah, that's it for today. I will be back this weekend with some gameplay. It might be Apex, might be something else. Stay tuned. I'll be live on Twitch. And thank you for watching. And remember, stay spicy. Bye.